Hello there, and welcome to another episode of the Popcorn Watchlist podcast, where we discuss and celebrate some of our favorites in TV and film. I am your host, Xavier, and today I have the distinct honor and pleasure of bringing up one of the biggest movies to have ever released in the year of 2005. Yes, we are going to be doing the 20th anniversary revisit uh, of none other than Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. And I have the distinct pleasure, once again, of talking about this movie with my fellow Popcorn Watchlist panelists, Danny, Anthony, and Zach. And, this is definitely a movie that's near and dear to my heart. The prequel trilogy has its ups and downs, but it's nostalgia is a hell of a thing. So without further ado, gentlemen, this is where the fun begins. Let's get right into it.
Ooh, yes.
So 20 years, guys. 20 years. This is nuts. Like, imagine like the people from when from the who saw the original movies in 1977, they now go into 1997 when they had like the special editions re-releasing, and you're like, wow, these are not the movies that I saw 20 years ago. Now we're doing the same thing but with the prequel trilogy. It's kind of surreal. I don't know how else you guys think.
Yeah, I feel like people look back fondly on the prequel trilogy, especially given how much I guess a good word would be displeasure for the sequel trilogy. And people are like, yeah, you know what? These prequels were not so bad after all.
I think there's some of that is true. I think that's also that you have like a younger audience, between Danny and Zach. Like it's sort of like that target audience of like you guys were probably Anthony and my age when episode 1 came out, when we were going back and watching the reruns of the original trilogy. And so like when episode 1s, 2, and 3 come out, those are probably like more than often like some of the people's first taste of Star Wars, and then that helped them like go back and rewatch the originals, and they see, wow, like this is sort of like the whole shtick of it, how it comes through. And it's cool to see like it was George Lucas going back and making these prequel movies that I think really, it's nice to see that at first I was like, man, I do really need to know a lot about Anakin, and then it's like, no, like this, it opened up honestly a lot of the big stuff with the rest of what we have right now, like a lot of the Clone Wars content, a lot of the content that leads up to episode 4 that we're now seeing in 2025 with Andor's seasons 1 and 2 now leading into Rogue One. There's a lot that especially episode 3 kind of sets up in a good way to kind of like add some or like be a big staple point in this big continuity.
Well, I was 7 years old when episode 3 came out, and it was the first Star Wars movie that I ever saw.
Anthony, do you have your salon pass ready? Man, how's your back?
My back it's been killing me from the start. 20 years.
And I was
I was 10. And it wasn't the first one I saw. I had seen all of them leading up to it because I had them on like VHS, DVD.
Do you still have that collection, by the way? Because I know you had it.
I have both.
Nice. Dude, hold on to that.
Yeah. And then, but this is the first one that I saw in theaters.
Nice.
When it came
Very
out.
cool.
So that was a cool experience for sure.
No, absolutely. Like it's like, I think everybody remembers the theater that they were in, or the theater experience, whenever they go see a Star Wars movie, especially like one of these main episodes. So like, episode 3 was like, the final of the trilogy. So like everybody was jumping in to go and watch these movies and rewatch and try to pick out things and, just appreciate, the stuff that we see of, of everything, how it leads up into episode 4. I know that then with people maybe again growing up, maybe after the year 2005, that never got a chance to watch episode 3 in the theater, this was a great opportunity to really take part in that theater experience. And I know a lot of people were really looking forward to it. And so part of us doing this recap is because Zach, Anthony, and I actually went to a showing for episode 3. I'll leave it. I don't want to spoil anything in terms of what the theater experience was like, but Zach or Anthony, what were your takes on this theater experience for the 20th anniversary?
I thought it was fun. I mean, I mentioned it to you guys. I was like, it was exciting to see like, somewhat a little jab to the previous movie that we got, but it was like good to see a good Star Wars movie in theaters because I wasn't too fond of the Rise of Skywalker, and that was 6 years ago. So yeah, I mean, it was cool to see a like almost a completely sold out theater for people excited for like the old Star Wars. And I hope it kind of gives Disney a glimpse of like people still like the old Star Wars. You don't need to completely like go away from it to do your own thing. You can do a mixture of the two if you want. You can create your own thing, but like there's still a lot of people that like really like the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. It was cool to laugh at certain spots and to just like be in awe of certain spots of the movie. And it was a cool communal experience with, some people were there with their lightsabers, people were clapping during cool moments. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, for me, I have to say the same thing. Like going there and everyone being like-minded, because going into the sequel trilogy, you go to watch anything from the sequel trilogy, especially with Rise of Skywalker, you don't really know what to expect. I mean, the first one was good. Second one was very like on the fence, and then the third
Divisive
one,
is the word you're looking for.
Yeah,
yeah,
very
Yes.
divisive.
yeah, it's like you either loved it or you hated it. Um,
And then
I,
episode
I feel
9,
like
general consensus is that it's bad.
yeah, they just kind of try to fix things, redirect, or what's the word? Course
Course
correct,
correct. Yeah.
and it didn't work out all too well. But going into watching uh, like an older Star Wars movie where people have uh, pretty much like the same feelings about it, and like they'll laugh at the all the memes, or they'll uh, uh, I guess kind of just like sit there and enjoy the moment, was really nice.
Yeah, it was, especially again with nostalgia and stuff. It was fun to see a lot of people reacting to a lot of the one-liners or the very famous quotes, which there's so many in episode 3, but a lot of it's because like people really took them, and then meme culture became a thing, and so people now like taking those lines out of context, it's silly, but seeing them in context, it still lands, even if some of the like the romantic dialogue still to this day is really borderline cringy or just like not natural at all. I was like, man, there's no way people in love speak like this at all. But it doesn't matter. That's something off to the side. But the theater experience was a lot of fun. Like there were people, yeah, like reacting at the big moments. You had like the dramatic moments were still like no, and like the big action sequences were hyped. Like the opening crawl was great. Like you had people firing up their lightsabers at the opening Star Wars title credits. Um, in a theater again with the proper sound levels, the opening sequence is probably one of my favorites out of all 9 of the films. I have a soft spot for episode 4, but episode 3's opening shot or opening sequence is just a real kick in the teeth of, hey, this is the war in Star Wars that everybody's looking for.
Just probably like the first like 15-20 minutes is just great with that like literally Star Wars, and then getting into the hangar and everything, like that's a good first chunk of the movie.
Yeah, and it's cool again seeing Anakin and Obi-Wan playing to a lot of their strengths, like being able to show that they are hardened Jedi Knights, being able to be just masters of the lightsaber and tactical command, and having a amazing partnership. Like that's the kind of thing where you saw that, like from Episode 4, you look back and Obi-Wan's like, he was a good friend too, and you could see that in all their interactions. What's funny is I don't think it was the exact room, but I don't know if this happened with Anthony too, but I watched Episode 3 when it first came out in the same theater that I saw this 20th anniversary showing at.
Like the same screening room?
I don't think it's the same screening room because I think like there was the
You
big
saw it at
room.
Sunset Place.
I saw it at Sunset Place. Yeah, the big room that's next to Dolby, I think is where I watched it.
Well, Dolby was definitely not there when.
No, it was not.
we came out.
But that big room that's next to that, I think that's where I saw it. But it's it was a kind of a surreal experience of just like me thinking, like, man, I saw this exact movie in the exact same theater in the same theater, like 20 years ago. Like I didn't drive because I wasn't driving at the time, but I was there. I was 17, came out in May, and
Nice.
that was my senior year of high school.
Yep. 05?
5. It was cool. So like, nostalgia is a hell of a thing. So a lot of this it's like rewatching it, like again, like I have over years when I was a little more critical of like the prequel trilogy, like I could see like there are some glaring things that I would always point out. But a lot of the times I watching this, most of the criticisms I didn't really like pay too much attention to. It was just a good like. It was like hey, haven't seen you in a long time. You're doing great, buddy. Like it was nice to see, and watching in the big screen is also different from watching it in a room or in like in your house. Like this is it's a movie theater experience. It's something you can't beat. It's so much fun.
I definitely. So I didn't see it there, but I saw it at the May of 2005. I saw it at the Kendall Village, which at that time was, I think, a really new theater because that theater probably was built a few months earlier on Kendall Drive. And yeah, I saw it there. So I remember that, like, oh yeah, I'm like 18, about to finish high school, and I'm like watching a cool ass Star Wars movie. So just like you were saying, like nostalgia, can hit you pretty hard, and it's a hell of a drug. But yeah, it was really cool. It's again, like they should do this not just for Star Wars. I just feel like they should do this more often. Just like do these re-releases. I mean, you're not expecting to make money on it, but you might make money on it. So you never know. And if there's an audience for it, then you could just keep doing it, and people will come out. People will come out and go support it. It's this year is also the 10-year anniversary of The Force Awakens. So I don't know if they're gonna do a Force Awakens re-release, but
Fair enough.
if they don't, then it's kind of telling. It's like maybe it's telling that they feel like maybe no one's gonna come watch Force Awakens, but we know people are gonna watch Revenge of the Sith.
I don't
I
think
mean,
they did a 10-year anniversary for New Hope or anything like that either. But I think
no, they didn't do it for
yeah,
New Hope, but that was because New Hope came out in '77. Like this re-release
exactly.
thing, it's not.
The hype.
It's a little bit more recent. Like maybe in the past 15 years, they started doing re-releases of movies.
Well,
So
apparently, recently I heard that somewhere in the UK there was a release of the original cut of A New Hope.
Yeah, the one that's really apparently not good, but it's still interesting to see.
I would like
what
to
was
see
it
the
like
original
a
version.
pre-theatrical cut of the movie?
Correct.
No, like the original theatrical cut, like without all
Oh,
the
you're talking about no. What I
extra.
understood is like it was an initial cut before we got the theatrical cut,
No,
not
no, it
before
was like it was
the
the original
post.
cut. It was the original theatrical cut, not like
Like
all
before
the
the George Lucas
edited.
changes and the extra CG and everything else, right?
Exactly,
Is that what
yeah.
you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Got you.
Like did Han shoot first?
That's
Like
what you're talking
that
about.
whole
But the
thing?
answer is yes.
Yeah.
He did.
But the
That
answer
was
is yes.
that was changed when on the special editions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
special editions, they like Greedo shot first and he weirdly moved, and then the Blu-ray, they made it so that they both shot at the same time, and a couple other differences. But whatever. Anyway, I think they did it initially because they did some re-releases back in like 2000. I think they tried to put them in 3D again, but they did it maybe in 2011
Yeah, I
ish, maybe
remember
2012 with
because,
Episode One, and it did not do well.
but they also have re-released some of the originals because I went to the theater to watch either all three of the originals or at least like one or two of them because both you and I, Xavier, never saw the originals in theaters. So I was like, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna watch these because I never saw them in theaters. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's maybe in a few years they'll do a big re-release for the original because it will be what 50th in,
Yeah, it'll be 50 and 27.
in 2 years. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure they're gonna do that. I'm sure they're gonna do a re-release for that one.
that's
And
wild.
hopefully the
Yeah,
original theatrical.
no, they won't.
That would
No,
be
they're
They're gonna
fun.
gonna
get
they're gonna
Like,
release the 4K version that they have
exactly.
yeah, they're
currently.
gonna use whatever the most current edited version is,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah. But
But
yeah,
yeah. I mean, one of
definitely,
the
yeah. Revenge of the Sith is for sure. I think for most people, probably they think it's the best one out of the prequel trilogy. So,
yeah, for me, it's for sure like the most
100%.
engaging and entertaining. Even though it's I think the longest of the three, if I'm
I
not
believe
mistaken.
so.
Yeah,
But it's
even though,
also the most well-reviewed one of the 3.
yeah, I mean, yeah, but because it's Episode Two feels like the longest, but it's not. That's because it goes, hey, we're just gonna do a whole bunch of stuff on Naboo, and Obi-Wan do his own thing, but that's a different topic. Um, one of the things I will say that I liked rewatching again, I got to really, I guess, being older and now being more discerning, I can see there are sections where there's like actually really good acting from Hayden Christensen, and I really think it's like I wish he would get more. I would have been given more credit where credit was due back in the day
yeah,
for
I agree.
him. Like looking back, I was like, damn, there's actually some really good stuff going on here. Like
I, I
it's
think
it's good for him. And I think obviously I always say it's gone there's a lot of it comes from like George Lucas's direction and maybe a lot of his writing, but I think with what he was given, there are still moments of like, hey, this is actually really good.
I think it was pretty much any scene of like between him and Padme trying to like maybe do like either sexy talk or intimate talk. It just always seemed weird between both of them. And we know Natalie Portman's a good actress. So yeah, it's definitely the direction and the writing. And it's like, oh well, we have to do the best with what we have here. And that's what came out into the movie. So yeah, um but yeah, I agree with you. I think after not seeing it for a good amount of years and then actually seeing him pop up in like in Ahsoka, I thought he was actually great in Ahsoka. And then that I think he had also in the Obi-Wan show. Yeah, he did good in that too. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I think maybe a lot of people were like too harsh, too harsh on him, and I'm actually glad to see that he's kind of getting like this resurgence of like now people are liking him more than they did before, and you can see that when he's going through like the convention circuits or he's going to Star Wars celebrations, it seems like he gets more of a pop than he would have maybe even 10 years ago or 15 years ago. So yeah, I think it's really cool.
I wonder what people would think about Jake Lloyd.
Now, I don't know about that one.
God.
The thing is he was only in one movie and
Yeah.
he hasn't been in
It's
anything
not like
else,
those
any
iconic
other Star Wars movie.
moments.
Yeah.
And I think too, so with what Anthony was saying, like those serious moments, I think he did really good in episode 3. Not so much the like Padme moments,
Mhm.
but maybe like those like going against Obi-Wan, or just like when he's upset or turning into Darth. So
I think there's points where if you look at like again his acting, like the times where he's just listening to Palpatine monologuing about Darth Plagueis, like you can see him actually like the hell is this story,
have
and
you
but like
heard
also
of the
be
story?
uh it's not a story the Jedi would tell. Dude, that okay. We'll get to that in a second. But going back to like those little moments and like the moment of final shock, where he's just like, "Holy crap, it's you! You're the guy we're looking for the whole time." Like you could see, like although the dialogue is kind of like iffy, the look of like complete like almost like betrayal. He's just like, but also confusion of just like this can't be like this poor guy's just getting used back and forth and can't doesn't realize the strings he's being put into. So it's like you could see it in his eyes and his body language. I was like, damn, dude, like, okay, like there was work being put in. It wasn't just do a million stunt, a whole bunch of the stunt moves, with the a lot of the fighting. Like it was, there were those moments, and also the iconic take a seat, young Skywalker, like that whole sequence where he's standing there, like you could see in his face, like the look of like disgust and indignation. It's like how you can't treat me this way. It's just like yes, you can. But yes, we can because
Respect your elders, son.
yeah, man. We you're on the council, but we don't give you the rank of master. I love that. Yeah, that those things have become iconic over the years. But and then speaking of iconic stuff, I'll take it out, open up to you all, in reliving some of your favorite moments in the movie theater, and also hearing a lot of other people relive the same moments and have the same fondness for maybe some some set pieces, some bits of dialogue. I'll leave it up to you guys. What do you get? What are some moments that you'd bring up?
I like to go first.
Do it.
I do it. I like aside from all of like the quotable and memeable stuff, like this is like a more like a serious answer.
Good.
My favorite part is the whole fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin towards the end of the movie. And that's because I've when I think of lightsaber duels, that's what I think of. That's how lightsaber duels should be done in the Star Wars universe. Like the original movies that came out in the 70s and 80s, the choreography wasn't there, but they did what they did what they did, like there was nothing spectacular about lightsaber fights because there weren't any good lightsaber fights. It was just
Whoa,
uh
whoa, whoa,
Obi-Wan.
whoa,
No,
whoa.
no, hear me out. Hear me out. The Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fight in Episode 4. It's just uh uh Alec Guinness holding the lightsaber out and then like trying to whack Vader. Right. That was number one. Number two, in which I don't think there was a lightsaber duel in five in Episode 5.
Really? How does Luke lose his hand?
Okay, that part. But even then,
No,
like
no.
there was
There's a
no.
whole fight, dude. There's a whole fight.
I forgot. I
All
just
right,
I forgot.
you've
You need,
awakened.
yeah, you need to
Yeah,
rewatch.
But
We
you need
need
to
to
but
rewatch
rewatch the first
Empire,
episode.
dude. Because
but
Empire
the thing is
and
that
Jedi have have actually good fights. Like you want the flashy stuff from the
but hold
prequels,
on,
and that's
hold on,
It's
hold
okay.
because
on,
that was
hold
the
on,
first
hold
one
on,
he saw. Like
hold on,
you,
hold
Exactly.
you
on.
essentially saw the best one first.
But hold
But
on,
like
hold on.
if you started from the beginning, you would have seen kind of like the ramp up, and then when you got to episode 3, you would have been like, damn, that was like incredible.
But
Even the one
then it
from
makes the
episode
rest of
1,
it
like when
seem like
the
nothing.
trailer for episode 1 came out, and then you saw that this dude just has a double bladed lightsaber, that was like the coolest thing everybody had ever seen because
No,
of
yeah, yeah.
like because of what you're talking about.
I'm
Because the
not
original
saying
thing
anything bad
was
about
more
that
basic.
fight.
The original trilogy was a little bit more basic, but then like with each movie, I feel like there's a ramp up. Not that there needs to be flashy sword fights, but even in A New Hope and the original trilogy, the lightsaber fights were. I think George Lucas has even said it that they're more um like paced and like
story driven kind
story
of, and
driven
not so
and
much.
more like a samurai sword fight, not some like crazy like. And also the prequels, it makes more sense because these two guys are very young, and they're like at the prime of their powers. Versus Episode 4, like Obi-Wan's an old man, so he's not going to be doing twisted McFisties with his lightsaber like he did in in Revenge of the Sith. But
Hold on,
I
but
get you. I get you.
the point I'm trying to make is that so when you have like the guy in the costume for Darth Vader, when he can barely move, it's really hard for him to swing a lightsaber and make it look convincing. That those are my issues with the original films, which is why the lightsaber fights are not as appealing. Like the most we get is I think it's in episode 6 when Luke like tries to hack away at Vader. I think that's the who he's trying to hack away at. But like there's no, I mean obviously there's no skill to the fighting because Luke just barely knows how to use a lightsaber at this point. Like yeah, he has his training, but it's not like he had really ever fought anyone aside from Vader. Um, but like there's nothing to it. Like there's no choreographed element to it. It's just them kind of like swinging the blades at each other, and then with like some weird standoffs in between and like staring at each other and like talking and blah blah blah. Which I don't mind dialogue in between like striking each other, but there's not much you can do when again you're in a costume that's very restrictive. So you kind of have to use that in the actual scene and work with what you've got. Now uh Darth Vader in Rogue One, because I'm sure the costumes have gotten much better and much more easy to move around. Whoever was in the suit then could swing around the lightsaber and deflect the blasts from the Rebel Alliance in that epic scene at the end of the movie. Like again, it wasn't like two lightsaber or two a Jedi and a Sith fighting against each other. It was a Sith and blasters. But that's what I'm saying. Like the choreographed fights from the prequel trilogy. That's how I imagine a lightsaber duels should be. To
So
be
I'm waiting.
like big flashy epic things because they're freaking laser swords. Like I want to see swinging around and like cutting limbs off and things like that. You don't get much of that except for Luke's hand in the original trilogy. And then when Obi-Wan killed the or not killed the guy, he sliced the guy's arm off in the cantina.
I'm waiting for Xavier to come and like school you. So I don't know if Xavier's just
Which is why
waiting
I think, and that's why I think
because
Revenge of the Sith
I
won't
can
fight
say a
against that.
rebuttal, but I know Xavier has stuff to say. So
Yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty much why I'm saying like,
you
or
gotta,
why
I think
why
you
I
need to
think
rewatch the original because
I think everyone
it's
is
like
entitled to an opinion,
they
however
are,
wrong it may be.
but I think
Um,
I
you
feel
need
like
to watch episode 5's fight again. One, because you talk about skill gaps, like that's the perfect example of skill gap. Luke shows up, like unfinished training. Let me go fight Vader because he has my friends, and he fights Vader. Vader's basically whooping him senseless, like without accidentally like trying to kill him because
with one
he
arm.
wants to convert him. Yeah, half the fight is with one arm. The moment Vader's like, oh okay, like let's try to actually fight, he's flinging shit at him while fighting him. And then it's like, okay, guess what? When they get to the walkway before he cuts his hand off, he's like, all right, you little crap, it's time. Like, I'm gonna start using both hands, and he's just like completely on the offensive, and that's when he swings away the lightsaber and then slices off the hand. Same thing with episode 6. Like, episode 6 has a lot where, for the most part, Luke is trying to he's skilled, like he's fighting off and like trying to attack Vader in the sense of like, hey, I'm gonna try to like disarm you and try to get through you because hey, you're my dad. I don't want to hurt you. And that's the only time when you talk about like, the differences in the fights, there's more like there is a lot of like raw emotion built into it, especially with somebody like Luke, like, hey, I'm going to like come at you directly because you're threatening my sister, these kind of things. But then you have Vader as well. Like again, it was goading it, but then oh snap, I'm unprepared for this onslaught. So the fights are there. There is choreography in the fights. There you can follow them. You could see what the conflict is going is manifested in action. But so like I would say I disagree with that completely on it. What I will agree with you is the fact that episode 3 should be the culmination of everybody fighting with lightsabers because they're like Anthony said, everybody's in their prime. Everybody is at a heightened kind of like emotional state. Like, you know, Obi-Wan's freaking out. It's like, damn, I gotta like kill my best friend. Anakin's like, everybody betray me. I'm fed up with this world, and then trying to fight. And Anthony understood that reference.
Yes.
And so, you know, he wants to establish his whole new empire. He's also wigging out because he just hurt his wife with their unborn child that he doesn't know are twins. And so, and after, you know, slaughter a whole bunch of Jedi and kids and everything else, like he's completely like, you know, like folk using that anger and hate and like loathing all in the zone in. And that's where they get this, you know, possibly one of the coolest lightsaber fights of all time. So, like you said, it's really cool to see that live and in action. If anyone listening ever is interested in, you should look at all the behind the scenes of that fight. That was like 3 months or something of complete choreography learning and lightsaber coordination. And, you know, at first a lot of detractors of the fight will say, oh, you know what? Like, it's too flashy. Like they're supposed to be in their prime. Like, are they really trying to kill each other? Or they're at a rave spinning around, you know, laser sticks and, you know, just wigging out. But if you look closely, like there's a lot there's more going on than what's happening. And at the same time, like they're really going at each other to the point where I don't have an opening with my lightsaber, but I have an opening with my kicks, and I'm gonna kick you straight in the chest. So there's a lot of that, which is always cool.
When they try to force
Pun intended.
thing each other, like when they both put their
Force
hands
push?
down, they're both force push. Like that whole thing.
Oh, I love that junk. That was great. I always see that, and I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Like flipping the sabers around for like 2 seconds before they finally connect.
That's the one part. They're on the table, and like that's the one time I was like, okay, this is a bit much. Come on, guys. Like they're just like, I'm winding up the hit, and then like, I blocked either way. I was like, guys, it's a laser sword. You don't have to swing it that hard. But at the same time, I'm angry and I'm sad and I'm justified in the fight and all that stuff. So that was really cool. You also saw more Yoda fighting the Emperor, and the Emperor doing a lot of like Force stuff, which is cool. You guys want to see more space magic and fights happening. But I think like what stood out to me again also with the whole idea of like, oh, my new apprentice Darth Vader will come to the Separatist people on Mustafar. He will take care of you. And it's like, haha. Like obviously we hear take care is like, oh, they're gonna get got, but like the fact that he just goes in there and just like straight up murders everybody. Like I'm here, it's like, wow, they got away with this. Like even back then in 2005, like there were some scenes I was like, man, they got away with quite a lot.
It was PG-13.
Yeah, but even still, like, and they got away with the whole like the
immolation,
burning of the body, and
that's the word you're looking for is immolation,
and losing his limbs, and that's pretty rough. Even like, let's say you just turned 12 or 13, and like, and your parents are like, okay, we'll take you now that you're 13. Even then, those parents might be like, oof, like this is rough.
I know, like, and there are I think there's like at least 3 decapitations, if I'm not mistaken. There's like 2 clone troopers, a Count Dooku, and I'm thinking of one more. I don't know if there was
probably that one little kid, that main kid.
But Mr. Skywalker, there's too many, but what are we gonna do? Man, like the kid's utter shock when he just fires at them. He's like that's rough, man. Like that always
the audience cheered.
The audience we were in cheered. And I was just like, there it is.
That's one of those examples.
I saw Anakin killing younglings.
That's one of those examples of like not showing like the end result is better because you know exactly what's happening just from him turning on the lightsaber and the kids look, and then it just cuts. You're just like, oh damn, like that's crazy. Like for him to stoop that low, it's like, well, that's when it happened. That was the turn.
Yeah, I
Well-
mean, yeah, the turn was technically when he, you know, sliced Windu's hand off. He's like, "I need my life, please!" Like,
I know,
you know,
but even the thing is, even after he did that, he was like, "What have I done?" He was still like confused and like between like his old self and then like what he's
mm,
becoming. But then like he's marching
That
up
solidified it.
to the temple and then straight up just goes to that section and the kids are there and you're like, okay, now it's over. Like
yeah,
he's too far gone.
there's full things. So yeah, you
And-
talk about you said that all this came by Zach because one of your favorite moments is that whole like the lightsaber fight of Anakin and Obi-Wan, like had them fighting through the whole compound, them fighting through lava
They were
sands, the
fighting
fact
for
that fighting for a
minutes,
really
like-
long time
Yeah.
because again they're evenly matched. It's like damn, one can't get a one up over the other. Like you had Anakin jumping off that pillar onto a little robot, and then Obi-Wan's like, I got the platform, cool. And then like Anakin's here, like, no, I'm on top of this here robot, and I have the hate in my heart. We're going again. And
Well,
even
they've
to
been
the
also fighting together for years and even training together. And Obi-Wan obviously showing him and all this back and forth for pretty much his whole life. So
that is
they
until
are-
he got the high ground, but yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, so I talked about the opening sequences being amazing. Like the music is very like wartime, like epic war music, and there's laser volleys between giant ships going on. There's a whole like space sequence. All of that is so cool to me. The clone troopers, Anakin like going, man, I care about my clone troopers. I gotta help them, and like that's really cool. Like those are the things that they would expand upon in like the Clone Wars cartoon because like hey, Anakin cares about the people he's leading. It's not just like hey, you guys are clones, you're useless to me. Like he had a soft spot for him, which that's why they become his 501st Vader's fist kind of thing. So obviously there's a million memes. What about you, Danny?
Yeah, I think for me the since you guys have chosen those two, it would be the Order 66 scene.
Mm-hmm.
And like that whole sequence of events where you're seeing like all the clones turning and you see like all the different Jedi that we've seen throughout either like the second movie or briefly or now in this one, and how they all like are literally dying.
Yeah, like this is definitely an order to wipe them out, all of them, like they
Like that
said in
was a
episode
big
1.
like I mean, I guess you could kind of tell, but like it was a big like plot like change in like a big moment in these movies. And and even the music changed, like everything was
Oh yeah, like the
"All right,
music.
yeah.
it is happening."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
and
think
I
that
think
track
it
is
was
one of my
Anakin's
favorite.
Dark Deeds, if I'm not mistaken. That's the name of the track. But that whole sequence like sticks with you. Like they even use that same music in the Star Wars, like the Jedi Fallen Order games. Like when you're reliving his whole like Order 66 moment with Cal Kestis, the main character, they play that same music too. It's that iconic.
Yeah, by far,
So
I think
good.
my favorite, my favorite track from that movie.
Damn, even better than Battle of the Heroes, dude. Battle of the Heroes is so good.
Which one
I
is
just
that
don't
one?
like the name. The main music from when Anakin and Obi-Wan are fighting.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
I
say.
mean, that was good too, but like,
Damn, Zach with the nuclear
yeah,
takes today.
it's that Top Gear meme. It's like this is brilliant, but I like this.
You know what? That actually was. I understood that, so that's not too bad. Yeah, there's just a lot of these that are just that kind of stick out to me. Like the whole Palpatine confrontation with Mace Windu. Like that fight's actually really cool, even though you can tell they like CGI'd his face with some random guy. But the dialogue is perfect. It's just it's just like
Well, he
the
just
Senate
killed
will
like
decide.
he killed like 3 other masters in like
In
They're
seconds,
2
so
seconds.
bad.
they were hot garbage.
They just
And
stood
Kit
there.
Fisto trash.
I know, man.
And
Kit
you
Fisto
think
was so
Anakin would have not done any better?
I mean, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, he
Sidious knew
probably
what the
would have.
hell was up. He probably would have done better, but he's also conflicted, so that wouldn't have worked in his favor.
But
But
if
He
that
doubles his
whole
power level.
sequence,
but
yeah,
if he
like,
would have had that confidence from Mace Windu and and
the Senate
trust,
will decide your fate, and the man just goes, "I am the Senate." And there's the, "Are you threatening me, Master Jedi?" Like that. All that whole bit is just like he's like, "It's treason." And then just what the hell? And that's when 720 spin right at
Ah.
you. That's
Would scream.
that mid scream. That's freaky Sith scream, man. You can't beat that. Going back to Sith fights, I thought the Dooku fight was actually really cool too. Like
Yeah.
that fight's really fun to rewatch. And like I always when I was younger, I would try to like slow down the DVD to like 0.5 or something because the move that Anakin does to disarm, literally, like pun intended, uh or just dishand Dooku with both his hands, like, and grab his saber, like it's so wild to me. It's like, dude, like he's just grabbing your arm. What are you doing? It's so, but it's so quick and you miss it. And that movie, I guess, George Lucas really had a thing for people getting dismembered because it's like foreshadowing Vader's own thing. But that fight's really cool, especially with like, hey, Obi-Wan getting knocked out, and now like Anakin's the one that's trying to like hold up. It's good and it's well choreographed, and it's cool seeing like his style and then like this fencing style of Count Dooku. It's legit.
To piggyback off of what Zach was saying, because obviously that last fight sequence with Obi-Wan and Anakin is amazing, but it also going on at the same time as the fight with Yoda and Palpatine in the Senate room. So I also like that part because you have the awesome music playing, and then you just going back and forth between the two fights, and it's essentially like four amazing Jedi fighting like at the same time, or three amazing Jedi and one Sith. Yeah, that's and then it turns into a cool lightsaber fight, and then it turns into, let's start throwing these Senate
Odds.
pods or seats at each other with the Force. But yeah, that's a cool scene, and I sort of like the General Grievous fight with Obi-Wan, but the reason I'm saying sort of is because I feel like I got spoiled by watching the Clone Wars cartoon movie that came out. That was
The
done by
animated
the guy.
or
Yeah,
not the animated one, but
it was the animated one that was done by the guy that did Samurai Jack,
yes.
Genndy Tartakovsky, and I think it was only a few episodes.
Yeah, it was
Or
short-lived.
or there was a lot of like short episodes put like together, and watching that, General Grievous was amazing in that cartoon. And then
He was
when
a
you come,
nightmare in that
he was
cartoon.
awesome.
He
And
killed
then
he killed the Shaggy
yeah, he
Jedi.
stomped on a guy that
He
looked like
stomped on
Shaggy.
him.
He just stomped on
Yeah.
him, and like Shaggy went into the floor and died.
He never came back. Yeah, he was gone.
So like you watch that, you're like, dude, this guy General Grievous is amazing. And then you go to the movie, and because of the events that happened in that cartoon, you understand why he was like you know how he was
Nerfed. He
coughing in
got
the
hit with
movie.
the
Yeah,
Nerf bat.
he
Yeah.
got nerfed because in that cartoon, he gets in a confrontation with Mace Windu. Mace Windu like crushes his like armor that's around his heart, and that's why he's like coughing throughout the movie.
Yeah, like
Um,
they talk about like General Grievous is this guy, whatever, and then like you watch the movie, you're like, this guy's just hacking and
this
coughing and
guy's
like building
guy's
up
a
a
bum.
lightsaber collection.
Yeah, he's a bum. But yeah, so anybody who thought that he wasn't that cool in the movie and didn't watch that cartoon, I highly suggest watching that cartoon. It's not the Clone Wars like animated series that they made later with the CGI characters. This is like a hand-drawn cartoon that looks kind of like Samurai Jack. And I'm pretty sure it's on Disney Plus, so I highly suggest to watch that because you also see Mace Windu do some cool fighting, which you never really get to see in the movies, except for him fighting Palpatine in this movie, and sort of fighting in Episode 2. Um, but yeah, but I gotta shout out that I don't know the name of the creature right now. I forgot the name of that creature, but that animal that Obi-Wan rides on throughout that section of the movie that makes that really weird sound effect. but that sound effect always sounds cool in a movie theater. So it was cool to hear it again in the movie theater speakers.
Like with the echo, it had
Yeah.
like an echo reverb.
Yeah, it's
to it.
like a parrot lizard.
Yeah, it's like 3 different animal noises put together. It's like whoop, whoop. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, he was from Utapau. It was looking it up. It is called a varactyl.
There you go.
It's actually called boga. I did not know the name of it.
Nice. Well, I mean that
But
guy
she
came
died.
in.
Yeah,
I know, but she came in clutch a few times. So
this is true. Yeah, she came in clutch. Yeah, dude. Who also came in clutch before he tried to murder Obi-Wan was Commander Cody. Commander Cody's like, "Yo, you dropped this, my guy." Like, especially remember when Obi-Wan would always make fun of or chide Anakin in episode 2. He's like, "Stop losing your lightsaber." Like, now he's like, "Damn, I lost my lightsaber. My bad." I thought that was really funny. Now looking
And
back,
then
I
like
was like, oh, yeah.
20 seconds later, he's like, blast him.
yeah,
Yeah, he's like, "Man, you got you. Oh, time to die." Like, just
here's your lightsaber. Oh, by the way,
I gotta murder you now. It's orders.
Actually, I shouldn't have given it to you.
Right? Oops. Yeah, a good Hey, can I have that back, please? A good soldier follows orders.
yeah, he'd be like, "Oh, do you have my lightsaber?" No, I have this blaster, and then he starts shooting him. That's what he should have done.
Yeah.
And
But
then when
go ahead.
I don't think we mentioned it when Obi-Wan fights Grievous, but then he ends up killing him with the blaster.
Yeah,
So
exactly. That's why it was lame.
uncivilized.
It's lame.
Yeah, it's so uncivilized. And like he whipped out 4 lightsabers, did the giant spinning blade thing, and Obi-Wan's like, "Nah, you have no hands anymore." I was like, "Come on!" Like that was one of the things I was like, "Oh, that's kind of sad."
Yeah, like they
Hyped
only
him up.
showed him spinning his hands, but in the cartoon, like he was using all of his arms, like
And
separate
legs.
arms, and like using them to like swing the lightsabers, like fighting with them. He wasn't just spinning them. So like the movie showed like his worst version. It was very weird. It was almost like I hope you watch this cartoon because if you didn't, then you get this kind of crappy version of Grievous.
Yeah, I never watched that cartoon.
Yeah, you should watch it, and then
Yeah,
you'd be like,
It's on
okay.
Disney Plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of
It
the,
also
the
makes-
moments.
I
Okay,
think
go ahead.
Kid Fisto is better in the cartoon as well. So
Yeah,
a
he
few of
swam a
the
lot.
a few of the characters that were probably lame in some of the movies were made cooler in this cartoon.
Yeah. What was pretty cool, what I liked is, like how a lot of the prequel trilogy was building up to how Palpatine became Emperor, and they kept talking about, the emergency powers keep expanding, 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 and you had like Senator Organa and Padme be close in their politicking, but also as friends. It's just like, hey, like something's going up, and they after the Emperor's speech, Padme has that iconic line, "This is how democracy dies," with thunderous applause. That was always like, damn, like that line hits hard and it's timeless. That's a timeless line. Also, like Padme has some really strong moments, where she's just like, yeah, where she's on Mustafar and she's like, "You're falling down the path I can't follow," and then that's where Obi-Wan's just like, "You brought him here to kill me," and then all of that stuff going on. And I love how Obi-Wan's just standing, just like with his arms on his waist, just like, "Yeah, you messed up, son."
I feel like people were laughing in the theater.
Yeah, because he just like power poses right there. Like, okay, dude, like I got you. I understand now.
It's like the next best thing to T-posing.
Almost, yeah.
when he's at the top, like by
the
the
ramp.
staircase,
Yeah.
or by the ramp, yeah.
Yeah. Couple other great Obi-Wan moments where like the whole thing where, hey, you go talk to the politicians, I'm gonna go this way, and he's like, hold on, this whole operation was your idea. Like they have like the Anakin Obi-Wan like back and forths. And what's really cool, going away from a lot of the memes, like if this is where the fun begins and like, flying is for droids, all that stuff, I think what was really cool is there were those moments where you could see that like Anakin's trust in the Jedi Council was taking a nosedive, but he always still believed in his friend. Like he still believed in Obi-Wan. And you could even see like where the council is like, hey, we're distrustful of Anakin because he's way too close to the Emperor, there's stuff going on. And you could see Obi-Wan even feeling conflicted too. So like that was a good bit of back and forth for the two of them, and it put their friendship, broke their friendship, slowly but surely. But it was cool to see that again from a plot standpoint, but also from, a body language, tone, and acting standpoint too. Any other? I know I'm missing a crap ton of memes, like and memery before we sign off on this. But I'll throw it out there to Zach or Danny, Anthony, if you have another one too. Struggling right now.
I mean, I don't know if it's a meme, but I definitely have seen a hilarious video of every time there's a lightsaber fight, every time a lightsaber hits, it's the Emperor going, "Do it, do it, do it."
Oh yeah, it's just the pepper. So what else? Oh yeah, there's one time in the Jedi Council. Obviously, some of the Jedi Council members are on various fronts in the Clone War, and obviously, who's not physically there is Anthony's favorite Jedi Master, Ki-Adi-Mundi.
Mundi, that guy's the worst.
Guys, what about the droid attack on the Wookiees? Like he just says it out of left freaking field. That's just like.
Does he only show up in person when he gets killed?
Yes.
In the whole movie?
I think so.
In this movie, yeah. I mean, he was in episode 2 doing nothing.
And episode 1, where he's like, does that young Anakin, your thoughts dwell on your mother. And then Anakin should have said, my thoughts dwell on your mother. And then they were like, oh, burn.
That was a meme too somewhere.
That was a meme too, dude.
I laugh every time I see him. I just laugh because
so
if you rewatch episode 2, the whole Battle of Geonosis, when I guess the backup comes and the clones come with the some of the airships, and then I think Mace Windu and Yoda and Ki-Adi-Mundi like go into the same ship, and the camera's like focusing on them, kind of just like swinging their lightsabers, blocking the like lasers. And if you just focus on Ki-Adi-Mundi, the actor, it just looks like he's just swinging at nothing, and like you could just tell that it's like either George Lucas or somebody else going, "Okay, swing now, swing now, swing now," and it just looks hilarious the way he's flailing his arm at probably nothing because the lasers are fake. But yeah, just go rewatch that scene. It's really funny.
Yeah, that's annoying. Yeah, it's not annoying, but it's just kind of like like, yeah, like he's just kind of like poking a stick at something, and then he's there. I forgot the name of the planet where he ends up getting killed. It's just like he's doing like the most inappropriate lightsaber form because you're just like, dude, you're rushing people with blasters. You're out here trying to fence. Like, what's wrong with you? But anyway, yeah. What about the droid attack on the Wookiees? And obviously, like, Yoda's like, oh, good relations with the Wookiees I have. Like, of course. That whole sequence also is really cool too. Like the fighting in Kashyyyk is really cool. I always thought that was like, when I saw it in the trailer, I was like, holy crap, we're getting Wookiees fighting, and we got Wookiees fighting. They're pretty damn cool.
Was it? Did you mention it? The one that Yoda cut the clone's head off?
Yeah, it was like 2 of them. I think is him and another guy that rolled up. Yeah. And he's like, nah, I'm gonna take you both out.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? I do also like the scene where Anakin's like completely conflicted with the whole, like he's looking out at like the Jedi Temple, or he's out looking out like like freaking out about Padme, and like Padme's kind of staring off in the distance, and he's just like completely like thinking solely about her, and just like he's at the Jedi Temple, he's like, I gotta go, like I gotta stop this, I gotta do something, and like you could see it. The music in there is awesome, I should say. Sorry. John Williams, something in my mouth. John Williams in episode 3 was in his bag, man. It was so good. All fantastic. Yeah, the music in this movie is incredible,
and the music
as good as Duel of the Fates shows up again in this one too. But a lot of the music in episode 3, like, it's just so good. It's incredible. Again, like, and from just reliving it in a big crowd of people, I guess, who have all seen the movie before, like they're reacting to the same things you react to. They know the inside jokes and the memes that there's so many of them. We can go on and on and on, but we'll leave that later on for leaving any comment sections on our posts of what your favorite prequel episode 3 meme is and favorite one-liner in the whole movie. But I think it's a good place for us to kind of, in the end, kind of recap how, just what episode 3 feels to you and how I guess we can look back and appreciate it. A lot of the little things maybe we took for granted. That's like how we took for granted a lot of the people acting in the movie. So like, and Hayden Christensen for sure. It's great seeing him making public appearances after the stuff in Ahsoka and Obi-Wan and just him getting love again. I think well-deserved love. He deserves it. It's pretty awesome.
How
Any
much?
other final thoughts?
How much did this re-release make?
Yeah, so worldwide it's made 42.2 million,
Nice.
which has made it now the second highest grossing re-release.
Very nice.
Yeah, well deserved, man. Yeah, it's good. It's a.
I want to watch it, man.
It's watch it. Yeah, watch it. Like obviously it's not without its faults. It's but it's not like it is but it's still like it scratches that itch. It's entertaining, and now with a lot of extra content for Star Wars that's been out for a long time, I think it adds. There's all of that extra stuff only adds to episode 3. Like if you've seen Clone Wars and then you see over the time, like you don't have to, of course, but if you see that and you see that the slow, the not downfall, but the slow mistrust that Anakin starts to have with the Jedi Council, especially with everything that happened with Ahsoka, like that's pretty fresh in his brain, in his mind, of just like, hey, the Jedi Council, maybe they're not all that hot, like because what they put through my old Padawan through, like forced her to basically quit the Order, like that's pretty messed up.
Also with like that final season of the Clone Wars where like the timing and the timeline goes exactly with episode 3, like the events, and you're seeing like what's happening in another place, but during the same time, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, especially like with Darth Maul going like, "Oh God, it's happening! Like this is happening right now," and Ahsoka's like, "What the? Oh man!" And Order 66 going out, and even our boy Rex was just like getting hit with the Order 66,
and of course
directive.
now seeing all the different point of views of Order 66.
Yeah, and there's more and more and more. Yeah, Bad Batch showed a really good one too, with Caleb that turned into Kanan from Rebels.
The game, Jedi Survivor, or no, Fallen Order. I think it showed.
Survivor's the sequel, but it's there, still really good. Showed that too.
And then you got a bit of a flashback in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, you did, and Obi-Wan, and so like Order 66 is prevalent, so that's why you see just how much of an impact and ripple effect it has on a lot of Star Wars media. So, this is definitely, it's like, when it comes to Star Wars, obviously episode 3 is required viewing. So, take it in, appreciate it, watch it in the best format you can, and, enjoy the ride. As much as you can. Just don't be so shocked that you die from heartache. That's a terrible joke, but it's
or force choke.
No, it's not forced choke. She just lost the will to live, dude.
Yeah, because she couldn't breathe.
She could breathe. I'm surprised Obi-Wan was like, "Yo, you have twins. Stay alive for your twins." And she was like, "No, I'm just sad." You're like, "But you have twins.
No.
You can love 2 kids now. Who cares if their dad ended up being kind of a scumbag? Like, it's okay, but whatever." Yeah, guys. So, any other final thoughts before we wrap this up?
Just it's a great movie. It's peak Star Wars. Yeah.
If you, I don't know if it's out in theaters anymore, but go watch on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's there.
My
buy the Blu-ray set.
My final thought, real quick. Hold on, let me find it here.
Okay. All hot takes come in 3, so go ahead. No, I'm kidding.
Bum bum bum. Let me see. Let me
Threes,
see.
or is
Hold
it, or what is
on.
it? The rule of two?
No,
It
I already
is
had it.
79% on Rotten Tomatoes, 7.2 out of 10 for a prequel trilogy movie. Is worth it. Whereas the other
Worth
two
it,
got
my
like
guy.
50 and 60% range.
You know what I also noticed? I think it might have happened in episode 9. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, it's technically right. Um, every final movie of the trilogy has some form of lightsaber being thrown. I was like, damn, that's cool. Like,
Lightsaber being thrown.
yeah, it's a random thing I just thought of. What was it? In episode 3, Yoda throws a lightsaber straight into a clone trooper's chest. Episode 6, Vader throws the lightsaber at Luke when he has the high ground. He said, "No, I'm not falling for that again." He just brought the high ground down. And then I think Ben Solo threw a lightsaber to Rey when she was fighting off her grandfather. I have thoughts, but that's a different thing. But yeah, like lightsabers were thrown in all final movies of the thirds. But yeah, anyway, that's just a random little thing I just picked up. I'm probably wrong. Hopefully, someone out there, if they can pull it out and say, "Hey, actually, no," and I'll go, "Okay, you're right," but whatever. Little observation.
Cool.
But
All
other
right.
movies have had lightsabers be thrown.
Like straight up thrown. Like what?
Well, the Last
Episode
Jedi, I think,
8. Well, yeah, Last Jedi. When they were fighting
when
the guards. Uh,
yeah,
Did
he
they throw
throws
it?
it. Well, he threw it, and then
Kylo
Ray
threw it
caught
to
it.
Rey and
Ray caught
ignited
it,
it.
and then ignited it into the guy's face.
Oh, well, that's different. See, he threw it and then ignited it instead of like. I'm talking about the thing is fired up and like chucked. I'm not sure. Again, so that
Wait.
episode 9 might be the foggy one, but whatever.
I think in episode
Another
9
thing.
it was also not ignited
Yeah, I think you're right. Might not have also been
after
ignited.
Rey got it.
She ignited it only then. Yeah. But anyway, chucking lightsabers is cool. Thanks, video games.
I mean, the one
Like,
in Revenge of the Sith with Yoda, that one was cool.
that one is really cool. I remember people in the theater going, "Oh, damn!" Like, yeah, there were a lot of like those moments where just like what cool action happened. Like, there were a lot of like even like not just now after 20 years, but it was like back when the movie first came out that there was a lot of like, "Yep, that was a cool thing you just watched," or like, "Damn, those clone troopers blew up in space and their bodies are floating in space. That's morbid." Like that stuff was there too. But yeah, episode 3 is great. So if it's no longer in theaters by where you are, if you don't want to, you still want to do a 20th anniversary rewatch. Again, you can either have it bought. You could have already had it, purchased before everything went digital, or you could stream it immediately on Disney Plus. So with that, everybody, tune in for next week's episode. We're going to go straight into another new theatrical release. We're going to be talking about Thunderbolts, which may or may not be the actual team's name, but that's like the running joke. So we're excited to talk about that. We'll all be going as a nice group. We'll talk about it, see what we liked, and give us our thoughts. But like I said before, if there are any favorite moments of yours from Star Wars Episode 3 that you'd like to share, any of your favorite one-liners or memes that have come from particular scenes or lines, please share with them. We always want a little laugh and a nice little warm, fuzzy feeling of nostalgia from looking back at our favorite things from that prequel trilogy. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was really fun and a special episode for all 4 of us to record, just because of what this movie kind of means and what it's grown into to mean for others nowadays, with regards to everything Star Wars that's out nowadays. So thank you again for taking the time, and we hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you next time.
Another happy landing.
May the force be with you.
Later.